Hello my gorgeous peopleini, my name is Sasha, born and seen, and I'm a psychic medium, and these are your weekly horoscope tarot card readings, and are for the fire signs of the zodiac, which are Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, and it's in between the 11th and the 17th of April 2022. So this weekly horoscope tarot card focus is for the for the fire signs of the zodiac, which are Erini, Leoni and Sagittarini, and it's in between the 11th and the 17th of April 2022. And of course I'm going to start with my gorgeous Aries. Erinis, you know, you are really gonna have such an interesting, bizarre and rather strange moment at the beginning of the week. And this interesting, strange and bizarre moment that you're gonna be having at the beginning of the week, it's really going to surprise you yourself, like so much, because suddenly, just out of the blue, you're gonna have this like self-illuminating moment. You know, this is big, and it doesn't surprise me because it's gonna happen on the actual 11th of April. That you're gonna start from the 11th of April. You're gonna start feeling like this very strongly. From the 11th of April, sorry, you're gonna start feeling like this very strongly, purely because you are entering the phase of your life where it's gonna be leading towards your own spiritual awakening. So it doesn't really surprise me. On the 17th of April, on the last day this week, there is going to be very unusual and really bizarre sign that you are going to have, and this sign is going to play a monumental role when it comes to you having a guidance, being guided towards the right direction in life. This is going to mean to you so much, you know, because it's going to be very personal. But there could be like 5 people that could be standing and staring at that like kind of sign that you're going to have, but none of these other people would be able to notice what you're going to be noticed, so what you are actually going to notice. So this is going to be something really personal, but you're going to feel it on a very kind of high and vibrational level. So that way it is just almost impossible to ignore these inspirations. It's impossible to ignore this energy, and this is all going to lead towards a very interesting opportunity, my gorgeous Erinis, that you're going to become aware of almost immediately at that moment in time. But going back to the beginning of the week, my gorgeous Erinis, it's all about you just really having this self-illuminating moment, you know, and now suddenly you're gonna feel in like kind of like a you're going to become aware of what part of your life exactly you were in self-denial about, and that in itself is going to be big mama. That in itself is going to be everything, because you're going to release so much of the negative and stale energy like you wouldn't believe what an immediate effect on your life this is actually going to have. It's remarkable energy that is absolutely impossible to ignore, because the fire within our spirit, the fire within our soul, you know, once it starts, you know, it just reminds you that there is nothing in this world like it. There is nothing out there like it when it comes to these internal feelings, when it comes to the internal guidance, when it comes to us feeling optimistic. So this is the vibration that I want you to follow, because it's gonna almost immediately, as soon as you become aware of this self-denial, what this is, it means that karmically the specific part of your life is going to need this continuance. You know, it's going to need from you to notice and recognize what this is. You're going to need to cut this out of your life. You're going to need to make a readjustment. But then again, at the same time, as soon as you do this, you're going to pick up on a wonderful vibration, and that vibration is going to make you feel even more psychic. So you will be feeling that there is something much better, and this is what all these feelings and energies are going to do to you from the 11th of April. Suddenly you're going to feel like there is something better right behind the corner. The energy is going to be like, as I said, undeniable. It's going to be impossible to ignore, but at the same time it's that powerful moment where you feel very close to your future planning and to the certain plan that you thought it was so far ahead. So that in itself, it's going to make you feel really creative. Pay attention to why do you feel creative, my gorgeous Erinis. Pay attention to what kind of motivates you. Pay attention to what makes you feel good. Pay attention to why exactly do you feel so creative, because it's all going to really kind of make you, it's going to put you in a mode where you will like literally know exactly what do you want to explore. It's going to require from you to put more energy towards something very specific in your life, but before that you're going to need to explore, because it's to do with a certain knowledge, but it's also to do with the beginning of a very meaningful experience that you're going to have doing just that. That in itself is going to start the process. This is to do with the creation, it's to do with the process, it's to do with the birth of something very important, you know, birth of something very, very important indeed. But then again, on another hand, it's going to make you feel revived again. Okay, because it's going to help you to tap into the parts of your lives that you've kind of felt out for quite a while. So this is why this is going to be so brilliant. And the fact that you're going to be so open spiritually, you know, you will just know, you know, you will just feel this, you know, it's going to be impossible to ignore. It's to do with your own creativity, but also it's to do with things that you love doing. It's to do with things that make you feel confident. It's to do with things that make you feel so good about you. Is to do with things that are giving you even more willpower every single step of the way. And you're so good at doing these things because even when you're doing things spontaneously, you respond in this particular way with this powerful energy. You always respond in the right way. So when it comes to you being spontaneous, it means that it's to do with a very special and specific part of your life that you like to live, or the things that you love expressing yourself with, you know, and this is going to be very unique but very important, because it's going to lead towards your own devotion at around the midweek, my gorgeous Aries. It's all about your own devotion, but also realizing and establishing, you know, where do you need to put more effort towards something very specific. It's to do with a very specific goal, but it's going to be absolutely obvious here. Where do you need to put more effort? This is more important than ever, because it is just at the same time there are going to be some temporary distractions around you, and that's just something that is basically you need to ignore. You just need to stick to this whatsoever. On another hand, you need to put yourself first. Now it's time to put yourself first. Now it's time to protect yourself. Now it's time to protect your creativity, you know, and this is something that you need to do. It's just like the more you do things that you feel very strongly about and alive when you're doing, you know, this is the more powerful sign for you. So it's all about devotion, your own devotion, and establishing exactly which part of your life, you know, there is a specific goal that you need to put more energy towards. Important indeed. By the time you get to the last part of this week, you know, it's a very important idea. My goodness, my gorgeous Aries, this is such an important week like there is no tomorrow. At the end of the week, by the end of the week, okay, there is an idea that you are going to have, because this beginning of a very meaningful experience at the beginning of the week, it's going to open you up so much. It's going to put you on the path. It's going to give you the taste of the spiritual flavor that is just going to be like, I want more of it. It's a delicious, delicious, delicious energy. But there are going to be so many questions, you know, that you're going to have, because you're going to take so many things into consideration. And now it's not the right time. No, baby, no. Oh, it's about this, it's about that. No, baby, no. You put yourself first. And then by the time you get to the last part of this week, it's all about this idea that you're going to have. This idea is so important, because yet again, the things that you will want to avoid, that you have been through over the last 8 to 10 months, in particular when it comes to the certain crisis, maybe, you know, the certain negativity, negative energy, negative vibration, you know, all this is gonna really it's gonna be keep on coming to you, and it's just gonna kind of keep on reminding you like exactly like how much you want to really start living again and remove yourself from the kind of negative vibration and energy that just really slowly but surely just sucked you in. And once you're sucked in, it's very difficult to come out, and you can only come out when you remind yourself that, you know, this life and this world can be really absolutely bizarre sometimes indeed, but it's all part of the, this life. It's all part of the spiritual journey. It is the time that it's going to remind you the essence of your own power by staying focused, and just no matter what challenges there are around that are making you feel more negative about your current path, you can just go over by remaining centered, by keeping your own balance, by staying grounded, by just thinking and planning what your next step in your life is going to be, ignoring negativity and sadness. Very important indeed. And I'm not saying that you're going around and just waiting for negativity and sadness, but I'm just saying that this has kind of become a part of our spiritual journey in many different ways when it comes to us subconsciously being aware of so much negative, that negative energy and feeling and vibration, that subconsciously is always kind of brings us down when we are kind of one step ahead or we want to do something. So that's the energy that you want to cut out. That's the energy that you want to ignore. That's the energy that you want to avoid, my gorgeous Aries, indeed. So the last part of this week, you will know what this idea is, because it's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to make you feel really artistic. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel alive again. It's going to make you feel very active. It's going to make you feel very determined. But it's to do with the part of your life that you're very experienced about. Just remember that there is kind of like a certain decision that you're going to need to make after this moment in time. And primarily when it comes to that decision, the answer is to be as analytical as you possibly can, because that is going to help you to avoid the crisis that you've been through, maybe the certain conflicts and maybe the negativity, and you having your hands like feeling like this, like behind your back, like that, all this kind of like damages us in certain ways until we come out of it. This is very important for you to remember. So you will know what this idea is. This idea is brilliant, and it's also going to help you to find balance in your life, to build your success. It is so important to remember this, to find the balance in your life to build your success. This is so important, my gorgeous Aries. And also it's important for you to understand that this week you are it's all about the balance that you're going to have, the balance that wasn't in your sign for a long time, which is going to reflect on your adaptability, but also it's going to make you aware of the change in circumstances. And this is absolutely brilliant, because the fact that you're going to become aware of the change in circumstances, it's going to really bring your curiosity up even more, and that is most importantly going to answer a huge, a massive, enormous question that you need to know. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Leo. My gorgeous Leonis, this is for April. It's in between the 11th and the 17th of April 2022. So now, my gorgeous Leonis, what I want to say to you, you are going to become aware of like the certain deception like there is no tomorrow. Huge, massive, enormous deception. And some of you are going to be like absolutely mind blown, like, oh my God. But then some of you are just going to be kind of like aware of this. Some of you were aware of this for a really, really long time. The deception that I'm talking about, it's nothing to do with you and your life in general. It's nothing to do with the people in your life. It's nothing to do with the people directly connected to your life, but it's most certainly to do with a bigger picture, with lots of other things that were going on, with lots of other things that were happening, and with lots of other things that were sadly manifesting on the outside, but were affecting every single one of us, of course. So it's to do with things on the outside that really haven't got anything to do with your life in personally, but then it was affecting your life just as much, so it's important, it's huge, it's massive, it's absolutely enormous what you're going to find out and what you're going to become aware of. It's to do with the deception, it's to do with like a very dark like kind of entities and people on the outside. It's to do with the devilish person, devilish people. It's a lot to do with like, my God, you kind of opening yourself up in such a way where you're going to really start wondering yet again, like, oh my God, with the amount of information that that you're aware of, sometimes you just have to like kind of make sure that you stay sane, No, I'm just joking, but sometimes, it's like just going to make you aware even more about things that you already know even more. And that in itself is going to make you wonder, like, are we sharing this journey journey, you know, with like some kind of a creature that are not from this planet, you know, you're absolutely right. I wish you're gonna find out so much about the people, about the humans, and about how different people are. It's almost unbelievable, and it's almost impossible to believe this, but it's just how you're gonna feel. You're gonna kind of think that, you know, there are a few different species of humans actually going on the outside, and this is a very highly advanced way of thinking, because what you're gonna come up and what you're gonna become aware of, it's actually going to be the right path. It's going to be the right journey, because at the same time it's kind of like really gonna prevent you from being taken an advantage of. You know, this is gonna make you aware of something really crazy, but at the same time it's going to change your mind a little bit, because you have found yourself on a certain path, and that in itself is gonna kind of open you up even more, the information that you're going to have, and it's gonna help you to be cautious about something else as well. And that in itself is gonna be brilliant, because it's gonna protect you in so many different ways, but most importantly it's going to protect you in a way when it comes to being taken advantage of. You know, you're going to kind of prevent someone or certain group of people to take an advantage of you, and this is absolutely brilliant, because it is going to make you feel so good about yourself, because you will know that this is absolutely the right thing to do. You must do things, those things that only make sense to you. Do not, for the love of God, don't ever let anybody to talk you into doing something that you don't want to do, and don't let anyone to rush you into something that it's connected to like kind of some kind of murky waters, because this is all about you being smart and you being clever, you protecting yourself, and you reaching this very kind of significant and wise destination in your life purely according to things that you have been doing, and things that the way you've been acting, what you've been absorbing, what you have been following, and what you have been ignoring. You know, this is like a very much so the combination of so many different aspects that have actually brought you to this particular point in your life. So it's all gonna kind of make you feel so good, but at the same time it's gonna help you recognize, you know, recognize what exactly you need to do when it comes to you making an ultimate change in your life. So we've got a bit of a yin-yang moment, but this is absolutely brilliant, because when it comes to the ultimate change in your life that you need to do, that you will recognize here, it's going to help you to have that little push that you actually need, but at the same time, you know, it's going to make you feel just like a rewarding just to think about it, let alone everything else. You know, this is brilliant, because you are really gonna know exactly what do you need to do here in order to make your life really, really successful. And there are gonna be elements of you kind of like a really thinking and planning and really connecting really well to yourself and the specific situation in your near future. And you're gonna connect so well that you're also gonna feel like, oh my God, there are people that are gonna admire me, there are people that are gonna be so proud of me, you know, because of this, you know. So this is gonna be really big, but it's also going to mean to you so much what people who are important to you in your life specifically will think about this, but you will know that you're doing the right thing. So this is going to be absolutely brilliant. You know, this is fantastic, and it's to do with things that you are capable of, and it's to do with you changing your life, changing your lifestyle, and it's to do with you also becoming aware of so much so that now it's time to bring as much as you possibly can on your current path. No matter what's going on, no matter what's happening at around the midweek, this is all going to be about you kind of bringing as much as you possibly can on your current path. And the current path that I'm talking about is the new beginning that you started not that long ago, and it really took off really nicely, really beautifully, really gently to start with, but energetically you knew that you're very wise and you were doing the right thing. This in itself is going to bring you security, but also at the same time a very, very important plan. At around the midweek, my gorgeous Leonis, there is an important plan that you are going to have, and the plan that you are going to have, it's also it is just like a kind of like it's to do with a problem that was really, it drained so much of your energy because it's to do with a certain plans that you had to stop, and it's to do with a very, very important stage and very important element in your life, and it's to do with a certain plans that you had to stop, as I said. And the reason why you had to stop these certain plans is because, you know, there is an unknown situation that manifested and you had to respond to this unknown situation, and that unknown situation consisting of like a people being very selfish and trying to do things in their own ways, lying and not being honest, just to put like a mask on your face and not to realize like what exactly they are doing. So it's all about protecting yourself, but it's all about protecting your what's yours as well. So it's to do with a very important aspect of your life that you have been working on, and this has been going on for a while. But then at the same time there was a little bit of blockage because, you know, something big happened, and that big that happened just took all your energy. And in terms of the progress and in terms of priorities, you know, the priorities changed big time. So this really slowed you down, really slowed you down. So now you're gonna come up with a plan what to do. It's all about a new plan. It's all about the you know, you started this before. It has got an energy of attempting this before, but then again it wasn't the right time because priorities changed big time and you had to protect something. So you had to protect something that's yours. Okay, so this is first what you need to do. It's all alongside these lines, like you have to protect what's yours, and then you can carry on. Not carry on right now. Now, first of all, you need to protect what's yours, because otherwise somebody else is going to take an advantage of you. See, this is why this is so important. So it's all about the attempt, but it's also now that you already had before. So now you're gonna have all this hope, you're gonna have all this confidence, and these are very powerful energies that are gonna push you through and give you the strength and power when you need it the most, especially when it comes to like walking into a significant stage of your life that means to you so much. But there's so much of uncertainty around there. It's like, oh my god. And especially it's like so many things happening around you. This is all gonna kind of contribute towards you, like, oh my god. But because the energies are going to be perfect, now uncertain efforts are actually going to work in your favor. Okay, so this is really brilliant. And also the last part of this week, my gorgeous Leonis, what is also really important is that you need to really work on a relationship with somebody who's so important to you, somebody who's so significant to you, like a family member or like a really great friend. There was some kind of a misunderstanding in between you two. It is very important for you to establish who this is, because that person is going through something very difficult, very strange, very bizarre. They're not thinking clearly, and they're not evil, but sometimes they come across as like too much, but they're not evil for sure. So there was some kind of misunderstanding with that particular person, and you need to work on this, because that person is really going through something extremely difficult, you know. So, but please, if you can possibly kind of like if you can possibly try to establish who this person is, you know. And then also on another hand, the last part of a week, it's also going to give you a really important opportunity to actually deal with some kind of something that was like kind of unpaid, you know, something that was like kind of unpaid, or something that was like kind of is to do with the finances. So now you're going to have the opportunity to actually deal with this, and that in itself, it's important because it slowed you down, it blocked you down a little bit. So because you're going to become aware of the certain accomplishment, something that you have been working on for the last 10 months, your accomplishment is going to allow you to kind of deal with this kind of something that was unpaid. It's very important to try to work on this and not to ignore it, because the sooner you do this, the better it's going to be when it comes to you releasing yourself from the old part of your life, from an old stage, something to do with the karma slowly coming to an end, but there is still something like kind of unpaid that is going to come up, but it's going to require your own attention. Almost immediately you're going to feel like, oh no, I don't want to do this, and I can feel this vibration, no way. But then again, the sooner you do this, then the sooner you're going to come out of this like kind of like a really much so circle that it would just be going it would be going around and going around until you reach this moment in time, you know. until you kind of like allow yourself to progress and grow the growth. But it's to do with you not ignoring, maybe, I'm not saying that you're ignoring something, please don't get me wrong, but it's to do with something being unpaid, you know, but it's going to require your attention. And then on another hand, my gorgeous Leonis, what else I was going to say, it's just basically, after a while, you know, you were wondering whether you're doing the right thing when it comes to like your current path, you know, when it comes to your work, when it comes to your finances and things like that, you know, and it is a very great accomplishment that you're going to have at around the end of the week. You're going to become aware of the great accomplishment when it comes to your finances, and that in itself, it's really going to make you aware that, you know, you need to explore something, you know, when it comes to your finances, what the next step is going to be. But you also at the same time, you need to be cautious as well. On another hand, you know, own your space with confidence, my gorgeous Leonis. This is very important for you to remember, you know, own your space with confidence. You're gonna pretty much so gonna come across the person who is very controlling, and I don't like this dark person, dark in energy, like horrible person, and you need to just put your foot down no matter what. Somebody very strong you're going to come across this week, somebody very kind of strong, like, oh my god, like a dark lala, like as dark as anything in terms of energy, of course. And these people can come across like very interesting, like to look at, but then again, it's just like they're draining our energy because they're very dark, they're very down, they're very like kind of messed up in so many different ways. And I also don't like this person, that this person is not themselves anymore. This person is long gone. This person is not even have their own way of thinking. This person is just thinking with too many of other people's heads, but not their own. No, baby, no. This is completely lost. It's almost as if person is like trying to bring you the message from other people, and none of this makes sense whatsoever. So this is the time when you need to put your foot down. And I remind you this because people, when they're so strong in an energy, in a negative way, on one hand they can like kind of give us an evil eye really easily without even knowing, you know, with this amount of negative energy. But on another hand, even more importantly, they can actually have an influence and impact on us when they're talking to us, and they drain so much energy just with them being so kind of negative and so weird and so strange, you know. And when they're draining our energy, then we don't respond how we should respond, and especially when we need to put our point across. So always remember throughout this week, if somebody's trying to make you to rush towards something, just ignore. If someone sounds completely off, just ignore them. If someone is kind of requiring something from you that doesn't absolutely make sense, just ignore them. But above all, make sure that you put your foot down, because this person is going to drain your energy to the point where you're just going to kind of not going to believe what you're going to hear, but then at the same time you're going to go home a few hours later, and, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, but it's too late now. So that's why it's remain focused like then and there, because you will be facing the situation where you're going to think, oh yeah, I can do this later. No, baby, no, you need to do it now. Okay. So now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Sagittarini, and this is for in between the 11th and the 17th of April 2022. Like, oh my god, what an amazing realization you are going to have at the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Sagittarinis. Very important realization, very quite amazing realization, and this realization is just going to come to you just completely out of the blue. And suddenly something is going to be pinpointed to you when it comes to that realization, and you're going to feel like you want to make a big change. And the big change that I'm talking about, it's going to be connected to your home, it's going to be connected to your immediate environment, and it's also kind of going to be connected to things in your life that gives you so much joy and so much pleasure, but it's also connected to things in your life that are going to be very, very positive for your own reputation, and it's going to make you feel very honorable about yourself. But the people who are very close to you and people who mean to you so much, people who love you, are also going to feel very kind of, oh yeah, very honorable, very happy for you, for example. So this means that you are reaching a very incredible part of your life where you are going to find yourself on a crossroads, but purely because you're not going to be able to believe what stage of your life you are entering, and that in itself only needs a more kind of energy in devotion from you, kind of to be honest with yourself and just kind of keep on going forward, keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward, keep going forward no matter what, because this is very important, my gorgeous Sagittarians, and this is exactly how it is actually going to start. It's to do with an important big change that you're going to do, that you're going to become aware of, that you're going to find out, and that also is going to refresh you, it's going to rejuvenate you, but it's also somehow going to be connected to the elements of you kind of like reaching a very important and a very interesting stage of your life, and this is all purely down to you. It's going to inspire you then and there, it's going to make you feel very creative then and there, it's also going to kind of be very much so, it's going to increase your willpower almost immediately. It's going to be connected to your self-confidence, and this in itself is going to bring you hope, faith and inspiration. This is so important because by the time you get to the mid part of this week, it's all about the inspiration that you're going to come across. Very, very bright prospects you're going to come across, and these bright prospects that you're going to come across, you will connect to that particular situation that I was talking about just now at the beginning of the week. So it's going to start with like a big change that you want to do, that you want to make, that you want to start. Ignore the dark mamas from the outside, ignore the dark energy from the outside. The more we focus on the negativity and negative energy, the more life is going to suck out of you. And sadly, people don't even realize that subconsciously we're also like spiritual sponges. We just like kind of like absorb so much. So it's really great to try to remove yourself from any kind of these poisonous energies in your life. Only focus on things that make you feel good, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel excited. You can't keep going in your life, just keep on looking at negativity and sadness. This is not the way the life is meant to be. Okay, so use your mind. You're very powerful, you're ridiculously spiritual, you're ridiculously strong. Okay, use your mind, use your energy to your advantage and snap out of the things that absolutely don't make sense whatsoever, once and for all. It is our own personal responsibility when it comes to our own journey, spiritual journey, to respond to the actual life in our own way, in our own unique way, not in a way when what someone else tell us to do, how to respond, how to act and how to react. It's important to remain sane, it's important to remain centered, it's important to remain focused. So this is what you do: remain centered, remain focused, remain grounded. My gorgeous Sagittarius. So this is why we get to the very important situation and aspect in our lives that provides us with absolutely mind-blowing opportunities. So the beginning of the week, it's all about the big change that it's going to really rejuvenate you, and it's going to be speaking to you in itself. But then on another hand, it's all about you giving you hope, faith, inspiration. Bright prospects at around the midweek are going to be absolutely mind-blowing, because on one hand, it's going to give you an immediate satisfaction, pleasure and happiness, a great outlook on life. And then on another hand, there is going to be very, very interesting omen that you're going to have, and an interesting sign and an interesting omen that you're going to have at around that moment in time, at around the midweek. It's going to come in form of you having a highlighted situation, like you're going to become alert to unknown danger. This is in a very strange, very bizarre and very unusual way. This is going to be an omen, this is going to be a sign, this is going to be so personal to you, so personal. But the bottom line is that sign, that omen, is going to be talking to you like a big mama, like there is no tomorrow. On one hand, you're going to become aware of an unknown dangers at the right moment in time, and that these unknown dangers are going to play a massive role when it comes to you being even more optimistic when it comes to moving on with your life. It is going to have elements of mixing of the past and present, But most importantly, this is all to do with the inspiration and the bright prospects that you are going to have. So at around a similar time, you are going to have this omen, this very strong and a powerful sign, which is going to make you alerted and awake to unknown dangers, which in itself is going to be playing an absolutely mind-blowing role when it comes to you having that final push, you know. And you will know when you basically that this is going to help you with overburdened feeling. It's going to help you with the part of your life that was slowing you down, and it also like kind of almost immediately going to make you aware of like excessive pressures and problems that are soon to be resolved just by you doing this. You have to trust yourself, and you have to take a leap of faith every now and then. So this is the time that I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. By the time you get to the last part of this week, you will be facing a very bizarre and very unusual situation. And the strange and unusual situation that you're going to be facing at around the end of the week, it's going to require from you to step into the unknown. You would never ever do this. You would never take this situation on. You would never kind of step through and step forward, because it's going to be so much of the unknown here that normally this would really like kind of put you off. But then on another hand, now you are going to feel very brave. You're going to feel very strong. And you know, when we have this remarkable combination of spirituality and these energies and feelings around us, we grow like a spiritual wings. You know, we become like little angels, and we do things with so much ease, only because we gave the credit to yourselves, only because we protected our energy, only because we protected our own creativity, only because we protected our own devotion by putting ourselves first. You see, these are all very significant different stages of our own grounding, but staying centered and ignoring as much of the darkness and sadness as we possibly can. So it's about you feeling very brave, and that in itself is going to increase your capacity. So normally, so you will be facing a situation that is just so unknown situation at around the end of the week. You know, this would put you off so much, but it's to do with an opportunity, but it's also to do with now with the actual perfect balance of bravery and capacity that you are going to have. This in itself is going to have an opposed impact on you, different impact. Normally it will slow you down, but now it's going to wind you up even more in the best possible way when it comes to your bravery, capacity. This is all going to be highlighted, because it's all about you rushing into the unknown without absolutely any fear whatsoever. My gorgeous Sagittarius, it's about you facing an important situation, but it also means that you had absolutely enough. You have learned your lesson. Your lesson was giant. Your lesson was huge. Your lesson was massive. So now it's time for the next step. This in itself, you're going to find a very beneficial in many different ways, and you will know that this is going to be connected to a certain profit, a certain profit and improvement later on. On another hand, you know, also it's going to start the process of a suspension, transition and change, and almost immediately you will know, like, oh my God, that you want to reverse your life when it comes to things that you're bored about, when it comes to things that you no longer serve you, when it comes to things that you want to really abandon now. You will suddenly realize how much you grew, and this is brilliant. Just go with this absolutely mind-blowing energetic flow, my gorgeous Sagittarius. So it's all about you growing spiritually, but also like giving a credit to yourself and allowing yourself to progress at the same time. And this is why suddenly you're going to feel so bored with a certain aspects of your life. Brilliant, because as soon as you establish like what makes you feel bored in your life, almost immediately, you know, the actual outcome of that is going to be you, you know, like having a different, you know, opportunity or option, like becoming absolutely obvious that you wouldn't normally notice. So this is how it works. It's all about this balance, but paying attention to and noticing it as well. So it's all about you abandoning certain parts of your life, but on another hand, it's about readjustment, the sacrifice. There is going to be an obvious sacrifice that you're going to need to make, but this is going to happen, like basically in terms of readjustment and being aware of the actual priorities changing as well. This is another important one. Pay attention to the way priorities are going to change. You know, this is brilliant. And also what you need to remember that, you know, it's like express your creativity with compassionate emotion. This is something I need you to remember as well, to express your creativity with compassionate emotion. And you will know exactly why am I saying this, because at around the end of the week there is also going to be very interesting person that is going to start entering your life slowly but surely, and that particular person is going to bring other people into your life that are also going to be of some kind of importance. But also when it comes to like all these different stages that you tapped into, these people that are going to start slowly walking into your life are also going to be playing a really important and significant role. On one hand, you're going to find out about a lot about yourself just by doing this, just by being aware of this. But then on another hand, it's all about like now feeling it and feeling the next stage of your life that you're not going to be able to explain, but you know it's coming. Okay, my gorgeous people, thank you ever so much for watching. Sorry, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.